Yeah, that's our last last class of the Torah reading portion. I'm starting next week the Haftarah. So there's going to be Monday. From now on, it's going to be Monday. The next three series are going to be Monday evening. So it's going to be Haftarah three sessions on Haftarah, 3 sessions on weekday davening, and then 5 sessions on Shabbat davening. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. Okay. So I would like to do today, and Jay is great because Jay is here in person. What I would like to do is to just go over a little bit what we did last time, meaning the methodology that we're dealing with, and then jump into the what we call the irregulars, and we'll deal with that in a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna look at what we have, that page of Bereshit. Okay, you know it by heart. I know you know it by heart, but so I'm going to take it from the 4th paragraph, I think. Okay, that's the 4th day. So again, we're looking, and we see that at the beginning we have a Vayomer Elohim Yehi Meorot Birkia Hashamayim Lehavdil Bein Hayom Uvein Halayla Vehayu Leotot Ulmoadim Ulyamim Veshanim. Okay, pay attention. Look at the difference between the Shvanach and the Shvanah. Bir, right? Birkia versus meorot. Right? So the Shvanah, obviously, in the beginning of the word, Shvanah has a sound, but also when it appears in the middle of the word, is going to have the S sound. Otherwise, okay. So the first word is a munach, but it's not a munach that precedes as a kef katon. So we're just going to say it Vayomer Elohim, and then ma'apach, which is what we have in the pattern. And then we have the pashta. So we've got my reading glasses. Munach zakef katon. Okay, I have in my office. If it's going to be so hard, I'm just going to jump and get it. Okay, Vayomer Elohim yehi meorot birikia actually, because if you want to be like really accurate, so the entire trope on that syllable. Birikia hashamayim, then lehavdil bein hayom uvein halayla ve'ayu leotot ulmoadim. Okay, this is one of those examples that we have two tropes, different tropes on one word, the munach and the zakef katon, and therefore we're going to do the melody of both. Ulmo adim munach katon ulmo adim ulyamim veshanim. Then we're going to add the beginning. After we feel comfortable with that pasuk, we're going to add the beginning. Vayomer Elohim munach revi. And together, Vayomer Elohim yehi meorot birkia shamayim zakef gadol lehavdil bein hayom ubein halayla ve'ayu leotot ulmoadim ulyamim veshanim. Next pasuk. Ve'ayu limorot birkia hashamayim le'ayir al haaretz vayhichen. Okay, and here you can see that you have two betegs. Va kind of like stands a little bit separated than the rest of the word. Vayhichen, right? Yeah, the chen. So you know that where the accents are going to go. Vayichen. Next one. Vayas Elohim et shnei hameorot hagedolim et hamaor. Right? Et hamaor, two words with a dash. Therefore, it's one word. Et hamaor hagadol lememshelet hayom ואת המאור הקטון לממשלת הלילה ואת הכוכבים. Okay, clear? Next one. Now we have vayiten otam, that's a tvir, Elohim birkia hashamayim lehair al haaretz. Vayiten, then a tvir, otam, Elohim birkia hashamayim lehair al haaretz. ולמשול ביום ובלילה ולהבדיל. Right, we have again a zakef katon over there. ולהבדיל בין האור ובין החושך. וירא אלוהים כי טוב. ויהי ערב. Right, and you see again, words are connected. ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר. Yom Revi'i. Jay, one day we need to do like a class about also the interpretation of the text based on that, on the trope. Meaning, like for example, this idea of Vayi'erev Vayivoker, if you have the mercha, the tam mechaber, Vayi'erev Vayivoker, that means it's connected the morning to the evening, right? It's like those little things that actually bring the meaning of the text into that. Okay, we'll do one more day here, and then we're going to go to what I want to do today. This is kind of a continuing from last week. It's just like we're going over the stuff. So now we're in the Yom Hamishi, so it's the 5th paragraph of that page. Vayomer Elohim Yishret. Again, you have the two shvas, and you see yish, sh, re, two. Here, this paragraph. Yish, re, two, because you see one is shva nach and one is shva na. Yish re tu hamayim sheret nefesh haya ve'of yofef al haaretz al penei rekia השמיים, ויברא אלוהים את התנינים הגדולים. Okay, now we have a series of munach. ואת כל נפש החיה הרומסת אשר שרצו המים למיניהם, ואת כל עוף כנף למיניהו, וירא אלוהים כי טוב. Okay, so we have a lot of tropes that are kind of not from the pattern. But let's go back to the beginning of the pasuk. Vayivra Elohim et hataninim hagedolim ve'et kol nefesh hachaya haromeset asher שרצו המים למיניהם, ואת כל עוף כנף למיניהו, וירא אלוהים כי טוב. Now here's the classic from in terms of the interpretation. Look at that. You remember what I said? That the Etnachta divides the pasuk into two halves based on the content. Remember that? Right? If you look in that pasuk, pasuk of Aleph, ויברא אלוהים את התנינים הגדולים, boom, אתנחתא. Right? I mean, pasuk of Aleph, Alan. Of Aleph. Yeah? Okay. So, what does it mean? Why the etnachta is there? I mean, it's like, ואת כל נפש החיה, why the taninim הגדולים are separated from the rest of the pasuk? Why? So actually, even Rashi deals with that and others. Rashi has um, but the idea is definitely they are. I don't want to go into all the drash here, but the point is that they are separated. Okay. And I don't remember who, but there was one of the German commentaries that talks about it, and he said that the idea was indeed to separate the Taninim from the rest of the pasuk, where you see Vayar Elohim Kitov. They're not part of that bracha. Some say that it was the dinosaurs or whatever that is. The Rashi goes into this idea that the midrash that I think that the male killed the female or something like that, and it was like or something or something. I don't remember. It's like some crazy midrash. But again, he's trying to deal with that as well. It makes no sense. Why, right? So when you delve into that and you see that division of stuff, it really impact our understanding of the text. Okay, one more, and we're done with that. Okay, the next one, Pasuk of Bet. You see, that's what I said, that sometimes in this particular edition, at least, they help you, and therefore the vet in Vayvarech, see, is bigger, right? The word usually, I mean, you could theoretically read it as Vayvarech. Right? We have other places in Tanakh where it says Vayvarech Shira, Vayvarech David. Right? We say it every day. I think over there it's also Vayvarech. Yeah, it's Vayvarech. Right? It's also. But there are places based on the root Barech, Bet Resh Chaf. This is usually where the accent is going to be on the Resh. Okay, here, for reasons that we're not going to get into, this is also Nosog Lachor, basically. This is also Vayvarech Otam. No, it's not exactly that. Okay, for a reason we're not going to get into. Okay, it has to do with the grammar, but the idea is that the accent moves to the previous syllable, to the vet, right? And therefore the word is Vayvarech. And in order to help us remember that, I mean, obviously the trope is there, but also to help us remember that, because it might be confusing if you're used to that word, they make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so Vayvarech otam Elohim lemor, peru urvu umileu et hamayim bayamim, vehaof. Another example here, yirev ba'aretz. Okay. You might make the mistake and go to and say yirev from the word rav. So therefore it's yirev to remind, right? If you look carefully, you see that the mercha is under the yud, but this is kind of another reminder, and therefore it's yirev ba'aretz. Okay? So vayvarech otam Elohim lemor peru uruvu umil'u et hamayim bayamim ve'haof yirev ba'aretz. Now, after we feel good with that, we add the other trope. Vayvarech otam Elohim lemor peru uruvu umil'u et hamayim bayamim ve'haof yirev ba'aretz vayerev vayivoker yom chamishi. Okay, so everybody's clear about the methodology. I know it's easy in theory, very hard to do, but we understand what we're supposed to do. Okay, that's that. Here's what I want to do today. So sometimes during the throughout the year, okay, we'll deal with that. Sometimes we have melodies that do not follow the regular melody of the trope. Okay, special occasions, or even the trope that are different. We'll get there in a second. So, okay. So the question is, what are those times? What's going on? What's the melody, etc. Okay. So the first one that I put here is Aseret HaDibrot. I put the one from Parashat Yitro. Obviously, that will apply to Parashat Vayetchanan. Jay can give you a whole history lesson about the history of Bet Jacob with the landing of Aseret HaDibrot firsthand. But basically, to make a very long story short, the Torah has, every section in the Torah is divided to psukim. So there's the regular division for psukim. That's what we call a ta'am tachton. In that particular, for Aseret HaDibrot, the 10 Commandments. Mm-hmm. No. Okay. Yeah. And then we have also a version, which is the third and the fourth paragraph in this page, which is the Ta'am Elyon. What happens there? It's the Ta'am Elyon is kind of a more majestic, whatever, something more special, festive way of reading. The custom was started to do that specifically on Shavuot, because on Shavuot we read the Aseret HaDibrot, and on Shavuot what we do is we kind of need to relive that experience of receiving the Torah, right? So the custom developed to do that melody in Shavuot. I guess with time, people really like that, or maybe the Baalei Kriya like that, or whatever that is, and the custom has started to become that we read in Ta'am Elyon, at least certain places, read in Ta'am Elyon, meaning with that special trope, also during the year, when it's part of the cycle of the Torah reading, and not only when it comes in addition. Now, why is the problem? And this is why it was a big debate here in Bet Jacob, for example, and other places, I assume. If you compare the two versions, you'll see that the vision for psukim is going to be different. Okay? No. The vision for psukim. Okay, look at the top paragraph. The top paragraph. Boom. That's the end of Pasuk Bet. Then Pasuk Gimel starts. Done. Pasuk Dalet. You understand? Fine. Look at the same text. Correct. Look at the same, meaning the same text, third paragraph now. אנוכי השם אלוקיך אשר הוצאתיך ממצרים מבית עבדים, לא יהיה לך אלוהים אחרים על פניי, לא תעשה לך. So you see the division in like whatever those square brackets are what you see in the top paragraph. The division that you have here, the regular division, is the Ta'am Elyon. Meaning the division from psukim is not the same. What happens here, according to this version of the psukim, we have each dibra, each diber has one pasuk. So some of them are going to be very long, some are going to be very short, but it goes by the commandment, not by the division of the psukim as it is. Yes. Correct. No, it's one opinion, but a different practice. Meaning, in other words, the Ta'am Elyon follows the Right. Correct. Correct. So basically, in Shavuot or in places where we read the Tamalion during the week, during the year as well, we ignore the division of the psukim and we go and we divide the psukim, not according to the grammar, let's call it, but according to the dibur. Of course, I have to be like with the only art probably in the world where there's no set of divorce. Like I wanted to say. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? Okay, and from that, so the structure of the pasuk changes, and this is why we're gonna end up with some long ones and some short ones because some of the dibrot are long or short. Okay. In addition to that, there's like a kind of a when you do Tam Elyon, there's kind of a little bit of a different melody. Okay. It doesn't really change the meaning, it changes. It's not the emphasis. Right. Right. Meaning it's not only that the oops, sorry about that. It's not only that we have an obligation to hear or to read the entire Torah throughout the year, but it's also to complete some sort of a number of psukim, according to that opinion. So if you're going to mess that, and all of a sudden you're going to do, I'm going to do it in quotation marks. It's not really, it's not run-on sentences, then you're going to mess that number of psukim. You're still going to say all the words, you're going to hear all the words, but you're not going to complete that particular number of verses. You can call it style. Style is a good word. It's just different melody, and that melody follow the, as I said, the division according to the commandments. Meaning, I correct. Well, that's the thing. So the custom has become, well, according to some opinions, that's a big deal. That's something you need to take. This is something you need to discuss with your local rabbi. It's also like a certain number of psukim that you need to complete, and not only all the words in the Torah.
Could you
It's X amount of.
Could you repeat the questions, please?
The question was like, what's the big deal? Why do we need to complete the, who cares if it's 20 psukim or 30 psukim or whatever? Yes. Correct. Amelia. Okay, I'm not gonna go there. No, that's already okay. But here's so that's the dispute. That's a machloket. If you happen to read Aseret HaDibrot, check what's the custom. The custom here, at least at this point, is to read Ta'am Elyon during the year, right? Yes. Apparently, the custom here that Jacob went through several changes. At this point, we do a Ta'am Elyon. Okay, let's go into the Sign up. You've been signed because no. Okay. Let's take a look at how does it. Jay, why don't you come here so the people here can also see you. No, I don't. Okay. So let's hear the melody, the Talmud. So this is where we start with it.
Incidentally, this is correct, and most of the Chumashim in the world have a different trope, which is not correct. And so the first pasuk ends up the first pasuk that you read, the sun pasuk, is actually very simple. Anochi Elokecha Hashem Eretz Mitzrayim Beit Avadim, and then it gets fancy.
Right.
Lo yelecha Elohim acherim al panai lo מתחת לארץ. Going through two psukim. I finally we got to an but we're still running in. The there. Oh, so then when I'm actually doing it, that's right. That's right. That's for
And the same goes for the That's what happens. Oh, I forgot to.
oh, when I move away.
Okay.
Okay.
And I forgot, guys. Look, this is totally on me. I forgot to do that.
While you're doing this, one of the reasons
Guys, it's on the chat box. Open the file.
the fact that you tend to have longer psukim.
Yeah.
Actually turns into more majestic melody because the longer psukim tend to have the shamim like hazer and right. So just by lengthening the pasuk, you're creating more opportunities for the more ornate.
Okay, so this is that. I'm in the bottom paragraph of the first page. This is the right. Here also no.
That are essentially sung the way yeah, like there. This here, these aren't really trop, but melodies that still follow the phrasing that the trop suggests.
Correct. And why we do that here? I'm not too sure why. Maybe it's kind of effective way because I think the description of how the camp looked like and how they traveled and there was something majestic and something special about it. I'm not so sure.
It's like the Masa'ot in its own way.
Yes. So, I don't know, but that's my theory. Probably there's a better explanation out there. So, okay. How does it work?
Well, it doesn't have to be that way. That's the way it's
So I
started.
think
בני יהודה בראשונה לצבאותם, ועל צבאו נחשון בן עמינדב.
that's
ועל צבא מטה בני יששכר, נתנאל בן צוער, ועל צבא מטה בני זבולון, אליאב בן חילון, והורד המשכן, ונסעו בני גרשון ובני מררי, נושאי המשכן, ונשא דגל מחנה ראובן לצבאותם, ועל צבאו אליצור בן שדאור, ועל צבא מטה בני שמעון, שלומיאל בן צורי שדי, ועל צבא מטה בני גד, אליאסף בן דרואל. Anybody want to say what's different about Kaf from Yutet and all the rest? I'm sorry. Well, the others start with something that's called it's not Pashta Zakev. It starts with a trop that is a variant of the Zakev Katon or the Zakev, but this one starts with Tipa Khan. It's the only one, and very quickly it's because the name God is short, and even the length of words, the numbers of syllables, can impact what the trop are. But the only other name that's one syllable is Dan, but Dan is not in one of these. Okay, I'll get back on track. V'naseu hakahatim nosei hamikdash, והקימו את המשכן עד בואם, ונשא דגל מחנה בני אפרים לצבאותם, ועל צבאו אלישמע בן עמיהוד, ועל צבא מטה בני מנשה, גמליאל בן פדצור, ועל צבא מטה בני בנימין, אבידן בן גדעוני, ונשא דגל מחנה בני דן, מאסף לכל המחנות לצבאותם, ועל צבאו אחיעזר בן עמישדי, ועל צבא מטה בני אשר, הגיאל בן עוכרם. I'm shortening it now, and that's the way I usually do it. But there are different variants here. Again, it's more of a mode, a nusach than a. Okay. Outside we have, which is an introduction to the next one that we do. We don't have to finish. I think we get there.
Yeah. So the idea is between that, between the regular melody and the special tune that you. It's the words. Yeah, the words. The Altzva and the name gets the special melody. The Altzvao or the Altzva gets the special melody and the name. The rest get the regular melody of the trope. It's those words. It's those words.
Anything that starts with Altzva or Valtzvao until the end of that pasuk.
It's the word itself that gets the melody. Okay. Okay.
This is more of a custom. When we talk about rules, it's like when you have a Oh,
Right.
practice. Okay. And that's the old stop that the Jews had. Again, this is theory why we do when we get to like all the names of the stops, just because I don't know, it's extra importance or something, or hakarat hatov. To I have no idea. Right.
It's boring.
Like Paragimel of Eicha, which we also
Right.
do a special on.
So it's boring, so we try to make it interesting, but you know, maybe.
I don't know. Your theory is probably better than mine, but
I get bored easily.
you know. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Would start from
Normally start with, although within that, some pasuk on there are that are longer, but I just kind of with the nusach there. I don't
Yeah.
refer to the regular Miami Mikra. So for example, starting from 10, I would go Mimara Vayavohu Elima Uv Elim Shetem Esrei Enot Ma'im Veshivim Tamarim Vayachanu Sham Vayachanu
that's a different melody.
And then Vayisu Miyamsu Vayachanu B'midbar Sin. And then I'll go quickly. Vayisu B'midbar Sin Vayachanu By the way, some people, and I may have mentioned this to you, some people are such a rush that they'll group two psukim together. So they might say, "Vayisu B'midbar Sin Vayachanu Vayachanu Be'aluhush." But I think that's
Well, really, the structure.
right.
Vayisu me'alush.
Now, if you go to we go to Pasuk Lamed Vav, okay? We've had all these things which are Tipecha Nata, Tipecha Pasuk, or Tipecha So Pasuk, depending on how many syllables are in the word. So then it's Vayisu Vayachanu B'midbar Sin Yikadesh. And then even longer. Vayisu Yikadesh Vayachanu. Okay, what do I do? Vayisu Yikadesh Vayachanu. So I kind of going back and forth there.
Right.
A little bit of a hybrid. But the idea is to keep that mood. I don't know if it's festive or
Different.
Right.
Different,
And
especially on the
right. All of this stems from the exemplar of this melody, which is
the Shirat Hayam. The next page.
and here there are specific things that you do with the melody. And I think there are various questions about which ones are done that way.
I thought it was also like always like when you have Shem Hashem.
Right.
That's what I know. Okay, so we learned the same thing.
That's right.
I don't at the it's the space.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's from, this is, I think, from,
Oh, right. You go. Okay.
it's probably just because of the format
Of the format, right, so-
when I copy paste it.
No, it's not. Actually, this is exactly, it's showing you without the actual spaces, what the layout of the pages in the Torah. You notice that
Yes.
that the,
Lebanon.
it's like bricks.
As the author special term is also in the Torah. Here, and this, because
Here, it also referred to the fact that they're like bricks. There's a lot of explanations about that, but the idea is like, writing space, writing space, writing space, and it looks like kind of staggered bricks. And there's a lot of explanations why and whatever, and it's like I don't want to go into that.
normally, as we saw in the other examples, the and then
Is the sofa so, but you start off with the regular trop.
Mm-hmm.
this part of that. Okay.
Ozi, Ozi. Ibe Zimratya.
We can't hear anything you guys are saying
Why?
because you're moving away from the microphones.
Where's the mic?
And the person in the audience is asking a question. The question isn't repeated, so we don't know what you're referring to. When you
No. We didn't answer. We didn't answer any questions.
but throughout the whole share, so to speak, it's been happening. So especially as someone else mentioned, when Jay turns a little bit 3 inches to the side, he's not in line with the microphone, so we can't hear.
Okay, okay, let's okay, can we move over the chair?
Okay.
Uh,
Ashira Larunai Kigaoga, Sus Ferochevo Ramavayam, Ozi Vezimrat Yah, Vaihili Lishua, Zeili Vanbehu, Elohei Avi Varomemenhu, Adonai Ish Milchama, Adonai Shemo. I do that little tune to end a sequence, then regular trope. מרכבות פרעה וחילו ירה בים ומבחר שלישיו טובעו בים סוף תהומות יחסיומו ירדו במשולות כמו אבן ימינך אדוני נדרי בכוח ימינך אדוני תרעץ אויב וברוב גאונך תהרוס קמך, תשלח חרונך, יאכל לאמו כקש, וברוח אפיך נערמו מים, ניצבו חמוני נוזלים, קפאו תהומות בלב ים. Everyone's waiting for the next one, but it doesn't come. אמר אויב, ארדוף אשיג, אחלק שלל, Timlae mo nafshi arik harbi tori shemo yadi nashaf bruchakisam yam zaluk afer my dream. Now listen to this one. It has 3 parts. I try to fit them all in. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, nora tehilot osefele. Natita yeminecha tiva'imo aretz, nachita v'chasecha amzuga, al tanei al teviozecha al nevei kochecha, shamu amim yirgazu tchilacha, az yoshvei pelashet, az yivalu alfei edom elei moav yochasemo ra'at namogu, ko yoshvei chenan, tipol aleihem imata v'fachad, bigdol zeroacha yidabuk. Then now we go, ad ya'avor amecha Adonai, ad ya'avor amzukanita. In the next pasuk, I'm going to actually do the end of one pasuk and a short pasuk together in one sequence, but I make sure to do the first one a little differently so that the end of the pasuk is audible. תביאמו ותטעמו בהר נחלתך, מכון לשבתך, פעלת אדוני, מקדש אדוני, כוננו ידיך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. Exactly what we talked about. Like, look at that at the end, mikdash. Right, so that is a kef gadol. That means we have a stop there. Mikdash Adonai konenu yadeh. So it's not Mikdash Adonai. It's not the temple of Hashem. It's a temple God you have created. In fact, they even so it's you see, like, literally when you pay attention to that stuff, how it changes the meaning of the text. It's unusual, and to make that clear, it's unusual. They have a dagesh in the kuf, and it's actually read mikedash. It's unique, and again, so that is separate. Mikdash Hashem couldn't be yodeh. It's really very, very clear. Very important in our understanding of the text.
Proof. So that's why he says mikdash, not
Right.
mikdash.
But it's also, but I'm saying, like, the trope itself also forces you to understand it's Zakef Gadol. That means you have to stop the mikdash, meaning, a temple, a temple, God, you have created. It's not the temple of God you have created. A temple you have created. And all that stuff, that's what makes that's exactly the stuff that when you hear that stuff, you know that, oh, the person really understands what he's saying, and that's exactly what we're trying to do, because Torah reading is not only get it done, it's probably the oldest form of teaching Torah. And by chanting it, you are actually teaching the Torah. So your phrasing, I went to music school, right? I went to study. We spend like the whole time, like, just the phrasing. It's like, what syllables right? That's what the whole work of an artist and singer, and especially a conductor. It's even harder when you don't have a text. Think about an orchestra. But the phrasing is the whole thing. And phrasing is what it's not only the melodies, but it's also the phrasing that the trope give us. Okay, I didn't put, yeah, absolutely, you can ask the question. And I will repeat it. Yes. Correct. Okay. So the question, yeah. So the question, let me just repeat the question. The question is, Alan is asking, do we correct the Pal Kore if the accents are wrong? Okay, if the Hebrew is, well, I can't say that because
The consonants and vowels are.
if the thank you. The consonants and vowels are correct, but the accents are wrong. Do we repeat? Do we make the Baal Koreh correct himself? And I think the generally speaking, it depends. It depends. It depends. Basically, the idea is like this. If it changes the meaning, we should. However, unfortunately, that's not happened. We don't. We don't. The practice is like there's the theory and there's the practice.
You
Correct.
mentioned in the previous week, they
Right.
changed the tense. One is past tense, one is future. How about the word banu in us versus banu? They built.
Right.
Totally different meaning. But we don't. And then we end up correcting things that really don't need to be
Like
corrected.
regel and ragel.
Regel and ragel, exactly.
Right. So, conclusion, the Gabbai or whoever is standing by the Baal Koreh needs to be an excellent Baal Koreh by himself in order to be able to correct or determine or whatever. We had actually in the shul that I grew up in Israel, our practice was only the rabbi was allowed to correct the Baal Koreh, nobody else. And if the rabbi told the Baal Koreh to repeat, then he repeated. And if not, then he did not. And that's it. Nobody else had any.
Authority.
So, that's a. Okay, let me add them. Okay, that's okay. Here's what I want to do. We almost ran out of time. What I want to do, and I apologize, I forgot to put it on the page. So if you have a Chumash with you, grab it. If not, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna take a Chumash and bring it here to Jay. Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. On high holidays, we read the same Torah reading. It's Parashat Vayera. That we're going to read this week, right? It's Pekidat Sarah.
English,
Yeah.
So,
So it's conceiving of Yitzchak by Sarah, and later on it's the binding of Yitzchak, and of course on Yom Kippur it's the avodah of the Kohen in Beit HaMikdash on Yom Kippur. And so we read those parashot, we read that text as part of the yearly cycle of the Torah reading. But so this Shabbat, we're going to read it the regular trope, obviously, because it's part of the cycle that, however, when it's repeated, the Torah, that it's the same text that we read on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, right? It's going to have a different trope, meaning, let me correct myself. It's the same trope. The tune is different. The tune is different. Okay? So what that's nothing to do with Elyon and Tachton. It's just that if you remember in the first session, what I said is that only even in the Ashkenazi tradition, we have 8 sets of melodies to each trope, like whether it's Haftarah or Torah reading or Megillah, right? Eicha, whatever. I consider also the German trope.
oh, okay.
So it's 8. So it means I can take the same, hey, we Yekes are also Ashkenazi.
No, it's that any given Ashkenazi has 6.
Well,
No, but that's
we
okay.
count too. The Yekes, we count too,
You're 6 again.
So that means that each trope or each pasuk can be read in 8 different melodies. Right? If I'm going to take like the first pasuk, whatever, beginning of Sefer Bereshit that we said, right? Bereshit bara Elohim, right? Bereshit bara Elohim. That's in the German trope. It's exactly the same trope. et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Right? Anybody? I can sing that also, like in the Haftarah. Bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. What happened? You drop like to a basso profundo key.
Yeah.
Ve'et haaretz. Or in the German. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Yeah, they think it's a South African trope. It's not. It's German. Anyway, so and we can do also the Megillot or right. So the same goes for the Torah reading for Yamim Noaim. The Torah reading for Yamim is exactly it's again it's the same text, the same trope, same rules, everything. However, melody is different. And here is the melody.
Okay, let's do the Yamim Noraim first.
Yeah.
ויהי אחר הדברים האלה, והאלוהים נישא את אברהם, ויאמר אליו אברהם, ויאמר הנני. This week you have to go, ויהי אחר הדברים האלה. So a lot of people actually have trouble reading, who do it on Yamim Noraim, have trouble switching during the year, which shows you should never learn by trying to hear yourself. Try to remember.
So what we're going to do is like when
Get us the high holiday. Yeah, I know. That's you, but there.
It's not. No, I did.
But you sent me yours.
I did Esther and Eichel.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna do for us this one.
Okay.
And we're gonna post it together with all the stuff. So if somebody wants to prepare it for Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, they can do that. So okay, let's just do a little bit more of that. So we'll have.
את יחידך אשר אהבת את יצחק, ולך לך אל ארץ המוריה, והעלהו שם לעולה על אחד ההרים, אשר אומר אליך, וישכם אברהם בבוקר, ויחבוש את חמורו, ויקח את שני נעריו איתו, ואת יצחק בנו, ויבקע עצי עולם, ויקום וילך אל המקום, אשר אמר לו האלוהים. Because that's where the first idea stopped.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Very much.
Sure. Okay.
But he will join us. And
That's also all the material on the show website available, both the recordings of the 3 sessions plus all the resources and recordings and all that kind of stuff. We have some technical difficulties, but everything is going to be on the website, on the show website. And so just check it out like in a week or so, and it should be there. And again, I'm always available for any questions and any help. And then this coming Monday, we're starting a 3-part series on Haftarah. Again, same trope, by the way, but different melodies for each one of them, and the rules are pretty much the same. But other challenges when it comes to the Haftarah. So, any questions from our Zoom viewers?
Thank you, even though we didn't hear about a third of anything.
I don't know why. It makes no sense. We're right
When
here
you-
in front
if you move your head a little bit like this, they don't hear you. And if he goes like that, both should have talked this way instead of that way. because the microphone must have been here. But thank you anyhow. I learned a whole lot, even though I couldn't reproduce any of those sounds because, as I told you, my voice has been asked to leave. So thank you very much. Lehitrot.
Thank you. Good
And
night.
thank you to you as
Thank
well.
you.
Thank you, bud.